Over the past few decades, China's spectacular economic expansion has been accompanied by a considerable rise in debt, notably at the local government level. China is battling a $1 trillion local debt issue due to China's interconnectivity with the rest of the globe. This debt issue creates concerns not only for the stability of China's economy, but also for international financial markets. In this video, we'll examine the reasons behind China's municipal debt crisis, its effects, and potential fixes. China, which has provided loans totaling about $1 billion to about 150 developing nations, has been reluctant to forgive significant debts due by struggling nations. This is due, at least in part, to China's domestic debt crisis, which is caused by local governments. They're primarily illicit financial affiliates and real estate developers owing trillions of dollars, whether Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen can persuade China to work more cooperatively to solve the developing debt crisis affecting lower-income countries will be one of her key concerns during her visit to Beijing this week. However, China's state-run banking sector is reluctant to take losses on loans from abroad when it is already experiencing much higher losses on loans from within the country. China's promised basket of measures to reduce the risks associated with local government debt are probably going to involve special bond issuance, debt swaps, loan rollovers, and something Beijing truly detests: raiding the central budget. China's local governments are crucial to the country's economy, and Beijing has given province and city leaders lofty growth goals to accomplish. However, following years of excessive infrastructure spending, declining land sale profits, and rising COVID costs, economists claim that debt-ridden municipalities now pose a serious threat to China's economy. Chinese leaders committed to assist in debt relief without providing any further details, expressing concern over a potential chain of municipal debt defaults that may shake the financial system. Compared to April, when Communist Party leaders advocated strict control of local loans, economists saw this message as being more encouraging. According to them, Beijing has realized it needs to immediately pour money into the issue. That might be a significant step forward in finding a solution to China's municipal debt dilemma, because Beijing has long insisted that local governments resolve their own issues. Jiwa Tengyong, professor at Beijing Central University of Finance and Economics, explained the Politburo's directives. The local debt problem is complex. You cannot simply say you don't want to take responsibility. According to two policy experts who spoke to Reuters, the degree of any central government engagement and any restrictions imposed on it are still up for debate. Also uncertain is whether the bundle of actions will be a multi-year or short-term strategy. Investors will need to know these specifics in order to assess how decisive and durable Beijing's answer will be. The size of any restructuring and the scale of the problem Beijing acknowledges are important to the success of this effort, said Logan Wright, a partner at Rhodium Group. In 2022, local government debt increased from 62.2% in 2019 to 92 trillion yuan, $12.8 trillion, or 76% of overall production. Local government financing vehicles on GFVs, which cities use to collect money for infrastructure projects, are responsible for a portion of it. The LGFE debt is anticipated to increase to $9 trillion this year by the International Monetary Fund. The central government, which has frequently issued advisories regarding hidden debt risks, is concerned that the figures are even greater when any debt issued outside of municipal balance sheets is taken into account. Beijing is in a precarious situation. Either intervene at the risk of promoting more irresponsible spending, or remain silent while the economic model collapses with serious ramifications for growth and social stability. A principle should be established. Not all debt will be assumed by the central government, a policy consultant told Reuters, under the condition of anonymity. Moral hazard could result from this. The advisor recommended that all parties involved, financial institutions, local governments, Beijing, and society at large, bear some of the burden to avert that danger. Massive expenditures in infrastructure, urbanization, and industrialization were required due to China's remarkable economic expansion during the late 20th century. By taking on significant debt to fund projects, which were frequently supported by land sales and income from state-owned firms, local governments played a crucial role in fostering this expansion. In order to get around borrowing limitations placed on the central government, local governments have turned to a complicated web of shadow banking operations and off-balance sheet financing. A variety of dangerous financial products, including wealth management products and local government financing vehicles, LGFVs, have sprung up as a result of these practices. Local governments used land sales as collateral to fund loans, which caused land values to skyrocket and contributed to a housing bubble. Due to their reliance on land sales, the local economy was susceptible to changes in the real estate market. The debt issue was made worse by local government financial opacity and a lack of accountability. It was difficult to adequately gauge the severity of the crisis because many municipal governments were secretive about their actual debt levels. The buildup of local debt, particularly in the form of shadow banking and off-balance sheet financing, posed a serious threat to China's financial stability. A larger financial catastrophe might start if these debts were to fail or grow unmanageable. Real estate prices in many Chinese cities skyrocketed as a result of the debt-fueled property boom, making housing unaffordable for many people. Millions of homeowners might be negatively impacted by a burst property bubble, which would have a negative impact on the entire economy. Infrastructure and heavy manufacturing were two areas that saw excessive investment as a result of local government programs, which created overcapacity difficulties. This excess supply may slow economic expansion and obstruct China's move towards a consumption-driven economy. Moral hazard resulted from the belief that local governments could count on federal bailouts in the event of financial difficulties. This promoted reckless behavior and led to the ongoing debt issue. In order to reduce local government debt, China launched various deleveraging efforts. These efforts targeted speculative lending, off-balance sheet financing, and shadow banking in an effort to lower financial risks. To help local governments manage debt levels more carefully, the federal government set targets for the debt-to-GDP ratio. This policy aimed to stop local governments from racking up too much debt in comparison to their revenue. To cut debt servicing costs and lengthen maturities, China established debt swap programs to swap out high-interest local government debt for lower-interest municipal bonds. By mandating them to provide more information about their debt and financial operations, efforts have been made to increase openness in local government finances. China must choose between preserving its rapid economic development and cutting its debt. Deleveraging too soon could hinder economic expansion, while delaying important measures could make the debt issue worse. The belief that the federal government will bail them out keeps local governments motivated to use riskier borrowing strategies. Long-term debt management is significantly hampered by this moral hazard. China's real estate sector continues to be a major source of funding for local governments to limit systemic risk. The real estate market might be cooled, but this could have unforeseen effects on social stability and economic growth. Local government officials may oppose central government orders to cut debt out of concern that doing so could prevent them from advancing in their careers or result in civil unrest owing to cancelled projects. China should keep up its steady deleveraging strategy to prevent financial system disruptions. Off-balance sheet financing, LGFVs, and shadow banking are all subject to greater supervision in this regard. Fiscal changes could lessen the debt load by diversifying local government sources of income and lowering their reliance on land sales as a source of revenue. To appropriately analyze the debt position and hold officials accountable for reckless spending, China must improve transparency and accountability in local government budgets. Promoting economic diversification at the local level can help local governments generate more reliable revenue streams and less reliance on a small number of industries. To avoid excessive credit expansion and asset bubbles, particularly in the real estate sector, the central bank should maintain a careful monetary policy. Cooperating internationally and exchanging data with international financial institutions can help limit any potential negative effects China's local debt issue may have on the world economy. The $1 trillion local debt crisis in China is a complicated problem with broad ramifications. The Chinese government has taken steps to address the issue, but there are still difficulties to be overcome, such as the need to strike a balance between economic growth and debt reduction, deal with moral hazard, and manage volatility in the real estate market. A durable solution must include gradual deleveraging, fiscal reforms, increased transparency, and prudent monetary policy. Given its significant influence on the world economy, the entire world will be keenly monitoring China's actions in the hopes that this urgent problem would be successfully resolved. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, press the bell icon to get notified of our upcoming videos. Let us know your opinion in the comments section below.